Good morning. Today we're going to work on making some cards. This project is called Watercolor Cards, and the reason is because normally in school we use watercolor paints to paint the cards. I understand most of you will not have those paints at home, and we're going to talk about different alternatives you can do. First, I want to show you some examples. These are cards that were professionally done. When we're thinking of our cards, as the project goes in school, we normally do 4 cards and 4 matching envelopes, and so we come up with a theme. And if you want to just make 1 card, that's fine. If you want to make 10 cards, that's fine. Whatever you want to make, it's up to you. But we normally look at 4 cards, and we're thinking of a theme, meaning if I decide to do birthday cards, they're all going to be birthday cards. I'm not going to do a Valentine's Day card and then a nature card, and then a card with dinosaurs on it. So you'll want to come up with a theme and stick to that. These cards are done in black permanent, like a black permanent marker, and then the watercolor is added later. If you decide to do something like this, outlining in black and then paint, you need to use a permanent marker, because when you add the water to it, if you don't use a permanent marker, the marker will bleed and run and ruin your project. Here are some other examples. Again, you can see the card on the right has the black outline and the card on the left does not. So those are just some examples of you can do. The next bit of slides I'm going to go through, these are actually projects that students have done in previous classes. So again, they were doing 4 cards with matching envelopes. The envelope was supposed to coordinate. If you are making an envelope so that you can mail the card, you will want to make sure that the front of the envelope is blank so that you can put an address on it and a stamp on it. I'm going to give you some instructions later on how to make the envelope. These were nicely done with the Grinch. We did these right before Christmas, and a lot of students decided to do holiday cards. The only problem with this is on these envelopes, see how right here she wrote on them, there is not a place to address them. So you would want to leave your envelopes blank if you are doing that. Going to go through these just so you can see. The cards on the right, a student decided to make them 3-dimensional, so she cut out paper and glued on and some beads and did like a collage on them. So you can do something like that if you would like. The cards do not just have to be drawn and colored or painted. I really like both of these a lot. You can see, though, how they're 2 totally different sets of cards. The ones on the left go together with a theme, and the ones on the right are a theme, too. Very nicely done. Some more examples. This is a video on how to make an envelope. This is what we used to do. It is confusing. I will go ahead and post a link to it later in case you want to try to do it by folding with paper. And then I also have a template that I will show you. Or if you have envelopes in your house, you can just take an envelope and stick your card in it. It really does not matter. The reason I'm posting this address up here is I was thinking if you would like, depending on who you are making your card for, you could mail them to me, and I could in turn mail them to your teacher. If you have a specific teacher that you'd like to send a card to, I would be happy to forward it on to them. Or you could always just send it to me. That's fine too. I would love to get a card. So here's my address in case you are interested. It's Mrs. Kowalski, in care of Holmes Middle School, 16200 6 Mile Road, Livonia, Michigan, 48154. I was also thinking, if a lot of times I've collected artwork in the past until we have a bunch of it and then we send it to a nursing home. So if you wanted to do some cards like that for people in a nursing home or even a hospital. You guys all know my daughter's a nurse up north. I could send them to her. If you send me the cards, just specify in there what you would like me to do with them. Or you can just give them to somebody in your house. That is fine. It's just an option. Before I get started on showing you how to do the project, I'm just putting this rubric up here for a second. I will post this in Google Classroom in case you are interested. This is just specifically how the project would go and be graded if we were in class. But the one thing that I like about this rubric is on the back, I had a place for you to sketch your ideas. It's really important that you sketch and make a plan before you jump into working. As a matter of fact, this is my second attempt at this recording, because when I did the previous one, I just started drawing and I made a mistake. And so I guess that would have been good to show you that I should have been practicing before I just started drawing. But this is just a place where you can do some thumbnail sketches. Again, a sketch isn't super detailed. It just gives you an idea of what you're doing. The second thing is, if we were in class, I would photocopy these for you. This is the envelope that you would cut out and then fold on these lines and glue it together, and you would have a nice envelope. And then you could do a little decoration on the flap here or a small little picture down here in the corner. I'm going to post the website that you can go to this if you are able to print from home. I know I have printing problems here at home. I'm out of ink, and so that would not be an option for me. So that's okay if you can't do it, then that's fine. It's just an option there if you are able to. All right, you can use any kind of paper you would like for your cards. Cardstock is great if you have that. At school, we just use drawing paper that I cut. What I'm using today is computer paper. I took just a sheet of the paper that would run through my printer, and I'm using a half sheet folded in half. This size will fit in. I have to trim it down a little bit to get it to fit into that envelope that I just showed you that I was going to make. But this is what I'm going to use. When you fold it, it's in half like this. I could do my card this way or this way. It is totally up to you on how you want to do it. You're going to sketch with pencil, because with pencil you can always erase. And so again, I might decide to add another flower in here as well, maybe in the background. Another thing is, I don't like to center everything on the page, and I think it's fine to have stuff go off the page. So that's what I did there. Okay, so that might be my sketch. My leaves are not the best. I would go back and fix these. All right, from here, I am going to outline with permanent marker. Notice I do have a paper bag down to protect my table, so please make sure you are putting something down, because I don't want you getting in trouble for ruining a nice table at home. I'm going to outline very carefully with permanent marker parts. I don't have to outline everything. I can just outline different things that I think I want to outline. The choice is up to you. You don't even have to do this. If you don't have a permanent marker and you decide to use colored pencil, you can just do the whole thing in color and colored pencil. So basically now what you're doing is, a lot of you have made cards in the past. You may use crayons, colored pencils, markers, whatever you want to do. Now's your chance. You know, I really don't care for markers that much, so now's your chance where you can use markers if you want to. It looks like I am going to go ahead and trace over everything with my permanent marker. So I'm going to take that last leaf out, so I'm not going to trace over it. All right. So once I do that, I am going to pull out my watercolors, and I happen to have watercolors at home. And you can see these are brand new, which is exciting. And then I have my cup of water here as well. So remember, if you are using watercolor paints, you need to add water to it. It's a paint that goes on fairly wet. And then I would just color the parts that I want to color. And as you see, if I touch that edge to the leaf, my marker is not going to run. at all because it is permanent. And like I said, if you would like to color them, I can do part of this with paint and part of this with color. If you have acrylic paints at home, any kind of paint, you can paint them. I like the watercolor. And again, I realize a lot of you might not have these at home. And so that's what makes art tricky, is I'm trying to come up with things that you can easily do at home. I'm going to continue painting this until it's done. And I think I'm going to mail it to my mom, because I try to see my mom. It's just difficult because, you know, at this time we're staying home, but I do take her groceries. So I think I'm going to mail this to her. I think she'd like to get it. And so again, in mailing the cards to people, I think it's a really great idea if you would like to do that. In class, I offer extra credit for it, trying to get you to send them to friends, and you would not believe the overwhelmingly awesome responses that we get from people that have received these cards. You can refer back to the school address if you would like in this video and send them to me. I am sharing this with other teachers, so if I am not your teacher and you would like to send your cards to your teacher, you may email them and they will give you the address on where you can send them. I hope you enjoy making these cards, and I look forward to your feedback. You may post comments, pictures in Google Classroom, or you may email me anytime. I look forward to hearing from you. I'll see you next time.